July's People, Chapter 12. Chapter 12 brings with the setting of the heart, the July's heart, Bam's family, and the small children, Gina and Victor. They bring a plastic sack, plastic net sack for the cats. And Maureen and Bam, you find that they are trying to figure out who the cats belong to and what to do with them. So once again, you find the concept of belonging. The children make an argument in this chapter about which property that they rightfully belong to. So this argument gives us the idea that how this apartheid system corrupting the small kids, because the children are when the children are born, they are not exposed to the social concepts, like they are not exposed to the racial prejudice or class system, caste system. They are not exposed to these. So it is always the society inject them these ideas. The children the children get corrupted when as long as they get exposed to the new systems, when they get exposed to these the revolutions or the apartheid system or whatever these things, you can see how the third generation also inject in the same ideas, how they are exposed into the new ideas. So how the children's life, because they racial prejudice or like class system, class distinction we call, like all these things get they easily get absorbed. They are like it is true that children also add their own ideas as well, but mostly children are like they are very fresh. They are like a fresh canvas. It's like the adults or the society, it's like drawing up what they want, and it's always the children easily, with their fresh minds and thoughts, they easily absorb these ideas. And also you find in this chapter that Bam Small's ideas, like Bam goes to fish in the river, and he and his family won't eat barbel, and but he knows that other villagers will appreciate it, so there are some of the arguments. And Bam watches there, like when he comes back, he watches his sleeping wife Maureen on the hut, and Bam feels like he himself feels like he is a prisoner, because it is because Bam was even though he tries to familiarize with this new setting, still the theme of cultural displacement, we have discussed this theme in a previous chapter as well. The theme of cultural displacement is still affects here. Bam seems to worry, or he seems to suffer, because he lost Bam as the father or the breadwinner of the family. He lost his familiar framework or his familiar environment. He lost there when he moves on to July's hut in order to escape themselves from the revolution. He lost his familiar setting, so he worries, because when as long as he is in a setting where he is not familiar, uh, how he himself can make the familiarize this setting to its children, because it's a different social structure. So this social structure does not guide him, because he himself is familiar with a different social structure. So when it comes to his children, how can he make his children familiar with this structure? So it's like a cultural displacement, as well as the helplessness. Maureen, we have discussed the same thing. Maureen, how she finds it difficult to adapt into this new environment. But somehow the adults, they can absorb the transition, or like the way that they absorb the transition, or the way that they absorb the new setting, and on the other hand how the children absorb the new setting. But on the other hand, and in another perspective, you can take this situation as Bam and Maureen, especially Bam as a father of the family, how he himself, how helpless he becomes when he tries to give these new concepts to his children. Or like he too has his own dreams to make his children's life in this way, that way. So how he becomes helpless in front of all these things, so he feels like he is a prisoner here. And also, finally, in this chapter, you find that Bam and Maureen, when they turn on the radio, they listens to the news of the Union building in Pretoria. It is been, as the novel, it is mentioned that it is been partially destroyed. So, what they feel and all. So, how they react to these things. So, you always, when you are reading the novel, the chapters, you have to pay attention, like individually how these characters find themselves in front of this situation, how they face the situation. And also when it comes to their responsibilities as a father or as a mother, as a master, so when it comes to their responsibilities, how they find it is difficult to face the situation, how about their helplessness, and also their dreams and everything related to children. And also in another perspective, you can pay attention to the way that how the children absorb these things, how children react to these changes in the society.